Listen, next time you guys involve Richard Brooks, you need to give us advance notice. He's the boss now. He is the man.
Welcome, everybody. We got a special treat tonight, and it's not me.
We love you, Rich.
Well, sure you do. You're in for a better treat than me.
Oh,
Amen. How can you stop that?
They're going to do it.
they're gonna do it.
We have Mrs. Mariah Mahaffey here tonight. She's a senior ministry student at IWU. She's brought some other folks from IWU with her. And she's preparing tonight's chapel service. So please give her your full attention. Let's welcome her up here.
So welcome, thank you all for coming. We're just really excited to worship our risen Christ tonight. So if you would all just please stand with us, we're going to go on the call to worship. This is a reading from Psalm 99. The Lord reigns, let the nations tremble. He sits enthroned between the cherubim. Let the earth shake. Great is the Lord in Zion. He is exalted over all the nations. Let them praise your great and awesome name. He is holy. This is the word of the Lord.
I is power. Sing that again.
What's step that we take, in every place that we go. God, we wait upon you with open arms as you call us with your arms open as well. God, we just bless this message that we get to hear today. We pray that you just move in ways that we've never seen before. We pray that you come and you come as hard as you want right here, right now. You make this your place to dwell. Take over our hearts here today, Lord. In your name, amen. Yes, please.
Thank you, worship team. That was wonderful. Hi, everyone. My name is Mariah Happy, like Rich said. And some people know me as the brownie lady or the girl that brings the brownies. My husband Cody and I, we come about once a week, and we just love being with you guys, and we love bringing brownies and all those goodies. So after the service, I made 2 pieces of brownies. So
No way.
come on in. All right. So to start tonight, I have a question for you guys. Did any of you grow up with brothers or sisters in your house? Did you grow up with brothers and sisters? All right. Well, I didn't. I was an only child. So a lot of my experiences, a lot of the people I played with were my cousins or my best friends and things like that. And how many of you ever got in trouble with your brothers and sisters or got in fights with your brothers and sisters?
Yeah.
It's hard to get along with sometimes. So I obviously would get in fights or not get along with my friends or my cousins. And I always remember that we would be fighting or arguing, and then we'd hear our mom, and they'd be like, come in here right now, and we'll see what happened. And then we'd have to go before our mom or dad, whoever. And that person would like tell what happened, be like, Mariah hit me, or we were arguing, or somebody's not sharing, or whatever. And like during that whole time, I'd be like, no, I didn't. Or I'd be like, she's lying. Or I'd be like, that's not the full truth, you don't understand, because somebody was going to get a whooping that day, and it wasn't going to be me, right? Or somebody was going to get in trouble, and I just didn't want to do that. And I think a lot of times when we're kids, we do that, right? We defend ourselves and say, I didn't do that, or it's not my fault. But the problem is that we take that and we never really get rid of it. We take that as we grow up into adulthood. And then it kind of messes with how we trust in God. It kind of skews that a little bit. So we're going to be talking about tonight in Daniel chapter 3, verses 14 through 18. But before we do, I'm going to kind of describe to you what's going on in that situation. You see, our 3 main characters, they're Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. It's kind of a popular story. And they are in Babylon. They're in exile. Because, you see, the people of Israel, they kept turning from God. They kept sinning and worshiping idols. And God gave them second chance after second chance after second chance. And he finally said, okay, you're not turning from your sin. You keep doing this, so I'm going to hand you over to the Babylonians. And you're going to be in exile. So that's where we see our 3 characters today. And one day, the king of Babylon, his name was Nebuchadnezzar, he set up this huge gold statue. And basically, whenever they heard the music, they were supposed to bow down to that statue and worship it. It's kind of like idol worship musical chairs. It was just like whenever music started, they had to bow down. But you see, the people of God, the people of Israel, they're not supposed to worship idols. So Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, they had to make a choice. Whether they were going to be faithful to God, or if they were going to bow down to this golden statue. But you see, if you didn't bow down, then you would be put to death. You'd be thrown into a fiery pit. So they had to make that choice. They chose to be faithful to God. They chose to remain faithful. But they got snitched on. So they got told on by the other people that worked in the government with Nebuchadnezzar, with the king. And they got told on, and so they were brought before the king. And that's where we see ourselves in Daniel chapter 3, verses 14 through 18. So would you read in your Bibles with me, or it'll be up on the screen? It is up on the screen. All right. Nebuchadnezzar said to them, "Is it true, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, that you refuse to serve my gods or to worship the gold statue I have set up? I will give you one more chance to bow down and worship the statue I have made when you hear the sound of the musical instruments. But if you refuse, you will be thrown immediately into the blazing furnace. And then God will be able to rescue you from my power." Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego replied, "O Nebuchadnezzar, we do not need to defend ourselves before you. If we are thrown into the blazing furnace, the God whom we serve is able to save us. He will rescue us from your power, your majesty. But even if he doesn't, we want to make it clear to you, your majesty, that we will never serve your gods or worship the gold statue that you have set up." This is God's word. Thanks be to God. So they got ratted out, and they were brought before the king, just kind of like when you were kids and someone would tell on you, and then you're brought before your mom or your dad, and you had to like tell them what happened in the situation. But instead of like kind of like what I said, like I did, I was like, I didn't do that. They're lying. They said, "We do not need to defend ourselves before you, Nebuchadnezzar." You see, they chose not to be on defense because they knew their defender. They knew that God was able to save them. In a different translation of the Bible, you know there's different translations like the King James, the NIV, but in this version it's called the New American Standard. We see that Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego say, if our God can save us. And it's kind of like, whoa, if? God is the most powerful being of all. So why are they saying if? You see, they had a moment of doubt. They knew God was able to save them, but they didn't know if he was going to. You see, when we let God defend us, like Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, that means we have to take our hands off the steering wheel and we have to let him be in control. It means that if somebody comes against you, is mean to you, is persecuting you, is talking behind your back, is straight up rude to you all the time, or just has let you down time and time again, you have to put it in God's hands. You have to let him defend you. And that means that we have to let go of control. That's hard sometimes. Because it hurts our pride. And it means that we don't get to come back. And it means that we don't get to say what we think. We have to put it in God's hands. So, in our story here, we don't exactly see forgiveness. But we see Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego putting it in the Lord's hands. And they knew that he was going to defend them. But that meant that they had to be okay with whatever way he was going to defend them. When you put it in God's hands, you have to just surrender to how he's going to do that. It's just kind of like with Cody at home. If I asked him for help, if I said, "Cody, can you please help me do the dishes?" He said, "Yeah." And then if I went over and if I was looking over his shoulder the whole time he was doing the dishes, it wouldn't make no sense. That would be I'd be a control freak. And I would just be looking it over. But I wouldn't be getting anything else done because I'd be so worried about what he was doing. And that wouldn't be helpful. So when we ask God for help, when we ask him to defend us, we have to put it back. We have to trust that he's going to do what he says he's going to do. We have to believe that his promises are true. And that might look differently. That might look like putting your full faith that he can save you. We don't know what that looks like all the time. That might look like putting down our pride and not having to defend ourselves, not having that quick comeback. But I want to argue tonight that one of the hardest ways it is for us, but one of the greatest ways that God defends us is through forgiveness. And that's something that we do. That's something that we control. When somebody comes at you, yells at you, is disrespectful, loses your trust because they've laid down time after time, we put our walls up. We defend ourselves so that we won't get hurt again, or so that they will never disrespect us. They will never talk to us the way that they've talked to us before. We make fun of them, or we say, kind of like, I'm over it, it's fine, I've moved on. But when people say that, you know that they've not really moved on, right? They're still hurt on the inside. We have to let go of control and God defend us. And He tells us to do something that doesn't make sense, and that's forgive. See, Jesus in Matthew chapter 5, He says, if somebody slaps your cheek, turn the other one so that they can slap the other. He says, love your enemies, those who are against you. Pray for those who persecute you, those who come up against you. If you love only those who love you, what good is that? If you're nice to only those who are nice to you, everybody does that. That's easy. The hard thing is loving those who don't love you. The hard thing is loving those who come against you. You see, when we hang on to things, and we have those walls up, it makes us bitter and ugly on the inside. And sometimes we don't even realize it's there. I've done that before, like I've been so mad at a situation, and I've stewed over it, and I've talked about it with other people. That's kind of another form of gossip. And at the end of the week, I'm like, why am I miserable? Why am I so exhausted? Why do I feel so ugly on the inside? It's because I've been bitter, and I've taken control, and I've not put it in God's hands, the one that can really take care of it. You see, bitterness is the only poison that we drink and expect the other person to get sick. My youth pastor taught me that. Bitterness is the only poison that we drink and expect the other person to get sick. Forgiveness gives us the freedom that we think justice is going to bring. And I'm not asking you tonight to let it go. You see, there's a difference between letting it go and forgiving. Letting it go is just kind of like, I'm just going to brush it off, I'm going to move on, whatever, it's fine. In fact, I kind of don't like it when people tell me to let it go. Because they're like, Mariah, let it go, just stop. And I'm like, I can't. I'm so mad about this. This person has hurt me so deeply that I can't let it go. Are you joking? You see the difference between letting it go and forgiveness is that forgiveness is active. It's something that you have to step into. It's something that you have to walk in. And that might mean like one day you just said, Lord, I'm going to forgive that person. And Lord, I'm just going to do that. Or it might be every single morning waking up and being like, God, I need your help. I need you to help me to forgive this person because I can't do it myself. I'm not saying tonight, I know that there's been hurt in all of our lives. To let it go would just not be worth it, but forgiveness is. Because that brings freedom. That's what Jesus gives to us. I'm going to tell you a story tonight, and it's about a woman, and her name is Corrie ten Boom. It's kind of a weird name, ten Boom. This woman, she was alive during World War II, and she hid Jews in her house so that they didn't have to go to concentration camps during the Holocaust. And one day, she was a Christian woman. One day, she got found out, and they took her and her family to a concentration camp. where her sister later died in that same place. And when the war was over, she was still alive, and she was able to get out of that prison. So about 3 years after that, she went around to Germany, and she was preaching forgiveness to Nazi Germany, and saying that God can cast your sins into the sea, and that He can forgive them if you ask Him to. And one day after one of her sermons, a man came up and was going to talk to her, and she knew instantly who it was. It was one of the prison guards at that same concentration camp where her sister died. It was that same one that did terrible things to the women that were there. And this man comes up and he says, I know that God's forgiven me. I know that He's cast my sins into the sea. But I need to hear it from you. I need to know that you forgive me. And at that moment, she said that her blood froze. She didn't know what to do. And then she said that she started to go through her purse because there was no way that she was going to shake that man's hand. Did he know what all the things that he did? Did he know that her sister died in that camp? There's no way she could forgive. And then she realized in that moment what she'd been preaching on, and that it was unforgiveness. And she knew in her heart that she had to forgive that man, even though it was really hard. And so she said, Jesus, I need your help. I can put my hand out there, but I need you to do the work on the inside. And so she did. She put her hand out there, and she said that a warm sensation came all the way down into her arm, and as her hands met, it totally changed. And she said, I forgive you, brother. With all of my heart. She experienced the freedom that forgiveness brings. And the reason why she was able to do that, the reason why we're able to do that, is because Jesus forgave us first. When He hung up there on that cross, and when He died, that was for us. That was forgiveness for our sins. And when we ask Him, the Bible says He is faithful, and He forgives us of our sins. There as far as the east is from the west. That's how far Jesus sends your sin to be rescued. So tonight, you should have received a card, or there's cards up on this table over here. And I want to know if there's someone in your life that you need to forgive, if there's someone or a situation that you need to let God defend you in that situation. Would you come up tonight as the band plays and write it down? And then would you put it in the offering plate as a symbol to, Lord, I'm giving this to you. I'm forgiving this person and I'm moving on. I'm experiencing freedom today. Because I don't want to be bitter anymore. I don't want to be in the chains of bitterness. Jesus breaks those chains for us. But you gotta ask Him. You gotta ask Him. So the band's gonna play, and I'm just gonna invite you to come up as you feel led and lay it at the feet of Jesus, because He is big enough to carry. Would you come up here?
Night after night,
hurts to you. And would you please help us to be able to forgive those who come up against us? Lord, we thank you that you forgave us first. Help us to walk in that tonight. We love you. It is in Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
Go in the power of our defender as we forgive and walk in freedom. You are sent out. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
You sing too, brother? Rough. I did everything I could, but once we don't play it, we'll play it. So let's work it.
Love that story.
Hey, we got brownies.
But I spoke. Spoke is way
I can't know that right at the end there.